Have you ever had that terrifying moment when you're alone and suddenly think, everyone's going to find out I'm a fraud? Not a fraud at work, a fraud at life. Like you're walking around wearing a mask so convincing that even you've forgotten what's underneath it. Maybe you're the together friend who secretly falls apart every night, or the strong daughter who screams into pillows because you can't show weakness, or the supportive partner who's slowly disappearing into what everyone else needs you to be. Here's the devastating truth. You feel like an imposter because you are one, but not in the way you think. You're not pretending to be successful, smart, or worthy. You're pretending to be someone who doesn't exist, a perfect combination of everyone else's expectations. You've become a master performer in a role that was written by committee, while your real self sits in the audience, watching in horror. Over 100 years ago, a revolutionary psychologist discovered that we all have hidden parts of ourselves that we reject and bury. Around the same time, a brilliant philosopher exposed how women, specifically, are trained from birth to be the perfect supporting character in everyone else's story, never the main character in their own. These two minds cracked the code of why you feel like an imposter, and their insights will shatter everything you thought you knew about your identity crisis. By the end of this video, you'll understand the real reason you feel fake and have the exact blueprint to stop performing your life and start living it. Warning: this truth is going to make you question everything. Are you ready to meet who you really are? Maybe you're sitting there right now feeling like I'm reading your diary. Perhaps you've noticed that every morning feels like you're putting on a mask before facing the world. Or you might be asking yourself, when did I become someone I don't even recognize? Let me paint you a picture that might sound familiar. You wake up and immediately start performing. With your family, you're the responsible one who never complains. At work, you're the team player who always says yes. With friends, you're the one who listens but never shares your real problems. In relationships, you're whatever version they seem to want. And at the end of the day, you're exhausted. Not just tired, soul deep exhausted. Because performing 24/7 is like holding your breath all day long. Here's what's really happening. You've become so good at reading what others want from you that you've lost touch with what you actually want. It's like you've become a chameleon stuck in someone else's terrarium, constantly changing colors, but never getting to be your natural self. This isn't just your experience. Millions of women struggle with this exact same pattern, feeling like frauds in their own lives. And conventional self-help often makes it worse by telling you to just be confident or love yourself more, as if the problem is simply in your head. But what if I told you that ancient wisdom combined with modern understanding shows exactly why this happens? What if the reason you feel like an imposter isn't because you're lacking something, but because you've been trying to squeeze yourself into boxes that were never meant for you? The stakes are higher than you think. Because when you live as an imposter in your own life, you don't just lose yourself. You lose your capacity for genuine joy, authentic relationships, and the deep satisfaction that comes from living aligned with who you really are. This pattern will keep getting stronger until you understand what's really happening underneath. And that's exactly what we're about to explore. To understand why you feel like an imposter, we need to meet two revolutionary minds who decoded this exact puzzle decades before anyone was talking about imposter syndrome. First, let me introduce you to Carl Jung, a Swiss psychiatrist who discovered something shocking. We all have a shadow, parts of ourselves that we hide because we think they're unacceptable. Think of your shadow like a storage room where you've locked away every trait, desire, or feeling that didn't fit the good girl image. Your anger, your ambition, your wild dreams, your messy emotions, all locked away. But here's what Jung discovered. When you reject these parts of yourself, you don't eliminate them. You just force yourself to live as a partial person, always feeling like something crucial is missing. Then there's Simone de Beauvoir, a French philosopher who exposed something even more sinister. She discovered that women aren't born to be supporting characters. They're trained to be. From the moment you could walk, you were rewarded for being what others needed. The helpful daughter, the agreeable student, the understanding friend. Beauvoir showed that this isn't natural or inevitable. It's a system designed to keep women focused on everyone else's lives instead of building their own. Here's where their insights collide in the most powerful way. Your imposter feeling comes from trying to live as this socially acceptable, partial person, while your complete, authentic self is locked in that storage room, desperately trying to get out. You feel fake because you are living a reduced version of yourself. Not because you're not enough, but because you've been conditioned to hide the parts that make you fully human. Jung and Beauvoir showed us that authenticity isn't just about being yourself. It's about first recognizing how much of yourself you've been trained to hide, then having the courage to let those parts back into your life. I know this is getting deep already. Let me give you a moment to process this. What we're discovering is profound, and it's going to challenge everything you thought you knew about why you feel the way you do. Are you ready for the next revelation? Imagine your sense of self as a mirror. When you were born, this mirror was whole and clear. You knew when you were hungry, tired, happy, or upset. You expressed exactly what you felt without filters. But as you grew up, every time someone said, "Good girls don't get angry," or "You're so pretty when you smile," or "Why can't you be more like your sister?" it was like throwing a small stone at your mirror. Each expectation, each should, each time you were rewarded for being what someone else wanted rather than who you were, created tiny cracks. Now, when you look in that mirror, you don't see a clear reflection of who you are. Instead, you see a fragmented image, pieces of your mother's expectations, your partner's preferences, your boss's definition of success, society's rules about how women should behave. The imposter feeling comes from trying to be all these fragments at once, while your true self, the original mirror, is still there underneath, trying to show you who you really are. Here's what's beautiful about this. The mirror isn't actually broken, it's just covered. Every authentic choice you make, every time you honor your real feelings, every moment you choose truth over performance, you're wiping away one of those fragments and letting your true reflection shine through. This next part explains the most crucial aspect of why this pattern developed. Take a deep breath, because understanding this will change everything. Think of the expectations placed on you as a golden cage. From the outside, it looks absolutely beautiful. People admire it. They tell you how lucky you are to have such a gorgeous cage. The bars are made of praise. You're such a good daughter. You're so responsible. You never cause any trouble. Shudge. But here's the trap. The cage is beautiful, so questioning it feels ungrateful. The bars are made of love and approval, so trying to bend them feels selfish. And everyone keeps telling you how perfect your cage is, so you start to think something's wrong with you for wanting to fly. This is where the ancient wisdom gets revolutionary. What if I told you that feeling trapped in expectations isn't a personal failing? It's a perfectly natural response to an unnatural situation. For centuries, women have been rewarded for being what others need them to be. The good woman is the one who adapts, who sacrifices, who puts everyone else's needs first. But here's what nobody talks about. When you spend your whole life being what others need, you never get to discover what you need. The golden cage is made of all those moments when you were praised for being selfless, rewarded for being low maintenance, loved for being agreeable. Each compliment became another bar, until you forgot that cages, even golden ones, aren't meant for human beings. The imposter feeling intensifies because part of you knows you're capable of so much more than maintaining this beautiful prison. Part of you remembers what it felt like to want things just because you wanted them, not because they made someone else happy. Okay, I need you to stay with me here, because what I'm about to share might be difficult to accept, but it's the key to your freedom. Inside you, there's what I call a secret garden, a place where your authentic self has been hiding, waiting for it to be safe to come out. This garden contains everything that makes you uniquely you. The dreams you had before you learned they were impractical, the personality traits you softened because they were too much, the desires you buried because they seemed selfish, the opinions you never voiced because they might upset someone. Here's what's heartbreaking. Your secret garden has been growing in the dark all this time. Like plants in a basement, your authentic desires have become pale and weak from lack of sunlight. You might not even recognize them anymore, but they're still there. Every time you feel a sudden spark of interest in something random, every time you feel irritated by something that shouldn't bother you, every time you catch yourself daydreaming about a completely different life, that's your secret garden trying to show you what's still alive inside. The imposter feeling comes from living so far away from this garden that you've forgotten it exists. You're like someone who owns a beautiful piece of land, but spends all their time in the parking lot, wondering why they feel so disconnected from nature. This ancient understanding shows us that integrating these hidden parts of ourselves isn't selfish, it's essential. When you deny your secret garden, you don't just lose yourself, you lose your ability to contribute your unique gifts to the world. Now, I know this has been a lot to take in. These insights can feel overwhelming at first because they're so much deeper than what we usually hear about why we feel disconnected from ourselves. But this depth is exactly what's going to set you free. Are you ready to learn how? The final piece is learning to build a bridge between your secret garden and your everyday life. This isn't about burning down everything you've built or suddenly becoming a completely different person. It's about creating a path so your authentic self can gradually come out of hiding. Think of this bridge like a dimmer switch rather than an on-off button. You don't have to go from 0 to completely authentic overnight. You can slowly turn up the brightness of your true self as you feel safer and stronger. Here's where both ancient wisdom and modern understanding agree. The bridge is built one authentic choice at a time. Every time you honor a real feeling instead of a should, every time you express a genuine preference instead of just going along, every time you set a boundary based on your actual limits instead of what you think is expected, you're laying another plank on that bridge. But here's the part that most people miss. Building this bridge isn't just internal work. It also requires recognizing and gradually changing the external conditions that created the need for hiding in the first place. This means getting clear about which relationships, environments, and situations support your authenticity and which ones punish it. It means slowly reducing your exposure to the voices that keep telling you who you should be and increasing your connection with people and experiences that celebrate who you are. The goal isn't to become selfish or to stop caring about others. It's to reach a point where your caring comes from choice rather than compulsion, where your kindness flows from abundance rather than emptiness, where your relationships are based on genuine connection rather than performance. When you successfully build this bridge, something magical happens. The imposter feeling starts to fade because you're no longer trying to be someone else. You're simply being yourself, fully and unapologetically. Let's get specific about how to start building your bridge today, because understanding without action is just intellectual entertainment. Step 1. Every morning, before you put on your performance for the day, ask yourself, What do I actually need today? Not what you should need, not what would make others happy, but what you genuinely need. Maybe it's 10 minutes of quiet. Maybe it's wearing something that makes you feel good. Maybe it's saying no to one thing that drains you. Tomorrow morning, when someone asks, "How are you?" if you're tired, say, "I'm tired," instead of automatically saying, "I'm fine." Just once. Notice what happens. Step 2. Once a day, do something small that your secret garden wants. This could be listening to music that actually moves you instead of what's socially acceptable, ordering food you genuinely crave instead of what seems healthy or impressive, or spending 5 minutes on a hobby that serves no purpose except bringing you joy. If you've been hiding your love for romantic comedies because they're silly, watch one this weekend. If you've been pretending to like wine when you prefer soda, order the soda at dinner. Your authentic preferences matter. Step 3. Practice saying, "Let me think about it," instead of immediately saying yes to requests. This tiny pause creates space for your authentic response instead of your automatic people-pleasing response. When someone asks you to do something, say, "That sounds interesting. Let me check my schedule and get back to you." Use that time to ask yourself, do I actually want to do this, or am I just afraid of disappointing them? Step 4. Share one small, authentic thing about yourself each week with someone safe. This could be admitting you didn't like a movie everyone else loved, sharing a dream that feels impractical, or expressing a genuine opinion about something minor. If you hate small talk but have been forcing yourself to engage in it, try saying, "I'm not great with small talk, but I'd love to hear about something that's actually exciting in your life right now." The key is starting small and building momentum. Don't try to transform your entire life overnight. Just begin turning up that dimmer switch, one authentic choice at a time. Start today by choosing one of these practices. This week, notice how it feels to honor your authentic responses. Over the next month, gradually expand your authentic expression as you feel safer and stronger. So what have we discovered about why you feel like an imposter in your own life? 3 life-changing insights. First, the imposter feeling isn't because you're not good enough, it's because you've been trying to be good enough for everyone except yourself. You're not broken, you're just living in conditions that don't match your nature. Second, your authenticity has been hiding in a secret garden inside you, waiting for it to be safe to emerge. Every genuine desire, every authentic preference, every real feeling you've buried is still there, ready to guide you back to yourself. And most importantly, building the bridge between who you really are and how you live requires both inner work and outer changes. You can't just think your way out of feeling like an imposter. You have to start making choices that honor your authentic self, even when it feels scary. This is why ancient wisdom succeeds where modern quick fixes often fall short. While surface-level advice tells you to just be confident, this deeper understanding shows you exactly why you lost confidence in the first place and how to rebuild it from the ground up. When you apply these insights to your daily life, you don't just stop feeling like an imposter. You discover who you actually are underneath all those layers of expectation. You move from performing your life to actually living it. Bottom line, you're not an imposter. You're an authentic person who learned to hide, and everything you need to come out of hiding is already inside you. If these insights into why you feel like an imposter in your own life resonated with you, you're joining thousands of people who are discovering that the path to authenticity isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been underneath all those layers. Subscribe and hit the notification bell to join our community of people reclaiming their authentic selves, because this journey is too important to do alone. Tell me in the comments, Which insight hit you the hardest? The broken mirror, the golden cage, or the secret garden? And what aspect of reclaiming your authentic self would you like me to explore next? Remember, every day you spend hiding your true self is a day the world doesn't get to experience your unique gifts. You were never meant to be an imposter in your own life. You were meant to be brilliantly, unapologetically you.